Greetings, my lovelies. Common Sense Christianity here. I hope everyone's doing fantastic. So, I've gone over agency quite a bit in my live streams and in my videos, and this is going to be another one, a quick video on agency. If you're not familiar with agency and how the principal and the shalia and the sent one interact and how they operate, go back and watch some of my previous videos that will give you a little bit more of an introduction. For those of you who are well informed about agency, this is another example of agency found in the scriptures. We can see that when Saul, who was Paul, this is Saul before he was called Paul, Saul still was breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord. So we have Saul breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord. He went to the high priest and he asked for letters from him to the synagogues in Damascus, so that if he found any belonging to the way, whether men or women, he might bring them in shackles to Jerusalem. Now, as he was traveling, it happened that he was approaching Damascus, and suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him, and he fell to the ground, and he heard a voice saying to him, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" And he said, "Who are you, Lord?" And he said, "I am Jesus whom you are persecuting. But get up and enter the city, and it will be told to you what you must do." Right? So again, Saul was breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord, right? And he was trying to find any of them, whether men or women. He was going to bring them in shackles to Jerusalem, right? And as he was traveling, a light from heaven flashed around him, and he fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to him, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" And he said, "Who are you, Lord?" And he said, "I am Jesus, who you are persecuting," right? Who you are persecuting. Well, how could Saul be persecuting Christ when Jesus was sitting at God's right hand in heaven, right? Again, you have to understand agency. When you understand when Jesus sends somebody, when they act on his behalf at a certain level, they can be called Jesus. Like in John 3:22-26, when Jesus was there baptizing and all people were coming to him, right? Rabbi, all people are coming to him. But then we're told in the book of John 4, immediately after, that Jesus was there baptizing, but he wasn't actually doing it. His disciples were, right? So when you interact with an agent, you're in effect interacting with the sender or the principal, right? And I've gone over this before. Again, watch the videos. The one who is sent is like the one who sent him, or a man's agent is equivalent to himself, because in Shalia, they may act on behalf of the one who sent him. When one deals with the Shalia, it's as if they're dealing with the one who sent him. If you see me, you see the one who sent me. If you believe in me, you do not believe in me. You believe in the one who sent me. From now on, you have seen him and have known him. So when Jesus talks about, different instances, like in Luke 10:16, you can see what he means, and you can understand what he means when he says things like this. The one who listens to you listens to me, and the one who rejects you rejects me. But the one who rejects me rejects the one who sent me. So if you reject Jesus, you reject God. If you reject the apostles, you reject Jesus. That's why if you do not honor the Son as you honor the Father, you do not honor the Father who sent him. Talks about this. See, Trinitarians cut you off, and they don't keep reading why they are to honor the Son as they honor the Father. Not because Jesus is God ontologically, or if you don't honor Jesus in the same way you're honoring God, that you're not honoring Jesus as God. No. If you do not honor the Father as you honor the Son, you do not honor the Father who sent him. It's all about agency. So again, if you reject Jesus, you reject the one who sent Jesus, right? Matthew 25:40, other instances. And again, the Bible is filled with instances of agency. If you're already familiar with it, you will pick it up. If you're not, it's going to be a little bit harder for you because you're not accustomed to this, right? And the king will answer and say to them, "Truly I say to you, to the extent that you did it to one of the least of these brothers or sisters of mine, you did it for me." So if you do something to the least of these brothers or sisters, you did it for him, right? This is agency. When you disrespect somebody, you're disrespecting the person who sent him. If you dishonor that person, you're dishonoring the person who sent him. Very clear, very fluid, right? So back to Acts 10, Acts 9 here. Go back to Acts 9 here, right? So Saul was breathing threats and murder against the disciples again. I am Jesus whom you are persecuting, right? So again, you interact with an agent, you interact with a principal. When Saul was persecuting Christ's followers who he had commissioned and sent out in his name, he was essentially persecuting the one who has sent him, that's Christ. Not physically, obviously, but in a representative way. So in the law of agency, Jesus was able to say that Saul was persecuting him because, again, he was persecuting his apostles who he anointed and appointed, and by doing that, they were persecuting Christ. So again, an agent is the one who's authorized to act on behalf of another or in place of another. The principle in the law of agency says that the one who is sent is seen as the one who sent him. If you see me, you see the Father. If you see me, you see the one who sent me. This is very common in the Hebraic culture, and it's demonstrated throughout Scripture. But if you read the gospel without a Hebraic perspective, the gospel is going to be very difficult or confusing, and it doesn't allow fluidity through it, right? It's kind of contradictory. But when you understand agency, these contradictory passages, they're harmonized, and they become very familiar, and the gospel comes to life. So I wanted to bring that to you. This is another example of agency, to keep it short and sweet. I'll be bringing more to the table later on. But with that being said, God bless you.